Good day, students. My name is Sir Philip, and I will be your teacher for today's discussion on Philippine history. So, before we proceed, may I please ask Miss Mendoza to lead today's prayer? Miss Mendoza? Amen. Thank you so much. So, good day, class. How are you doing today? Type 1 if you feel amazing and excited to learn new things about Philippine history today. I'll be waiting for your responses, okay? All right. Amazing. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of positive responses. Miss Linato, do we have absences for today?
There's no absentees for today, sir.
Okay, very good. Give yourselves a thumbs up for coming into class today. Thank you so much, class. So before we proceed with our discussion for today, let me just give you house rules first. So, class, I want you to keep your cameras turned on and your microphones off. You will only turn on your microphone in two instances. First is when I ask you questions, and second is when you want to ask or clarify things and ask questions. Is that clear? Type 2 if the house rules are clear. Okay, very good. All right, so class, before we proceed with our discussion for today, let's have or let's see how well you understood your previous lesson, okay? So again, what is 1897 Constitution of Biak na Bato about? Anyone?
Sir,
Yes, Mr. Hidalgo.
it created a truce between Spanish colonial government, Governor General Fernando Primo de Vera, and the revolutionary leader Emilio Aguinaldo to the end of the Philippine Revolution.
Very good. Give yourself a thumbs up, Mr. Hidalgo, for a job well done. And the same goes to you guys. Thank you so much. Okay, class, before we start the lesson, we will have a game first, and this is called 50-50. So the rules of the game is simple. All you need to do is just to answer what is being asked. That will flash on your screens, and those students who will answer it correctly will have additional points on your short quiz later. Type 3 if you understood the rules of our game today. Amazing. Very good. Okay, so let's start. 50-50. First question. The political constitution of 1899 was the title of Malolo's constitution. Is it true or false? Anyone?
Solis, sir.
Sir,
Yes, Solis.
Sir, the political constitution of 1899 was the title of Malolo's constitution. It is true, sir.
True. Let's see if your answer is correct. True, that is correct. Thank you so much. Next question. The Malola's constitution was signed on what year? Anyone?
Sir,
Mr. Hidalgo.
I think the answer is 1899.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see. So your answer is 1899. Let's check if that's correct. Very good. That is correct. The Malola's Constitution was signed on 1899. Next question. He promulgated the Malola's Constitution. Who is in the picture? Anyone?
sir,
Miss
Sir,
Vergara, yes.
it's Emilio Aguinaldo, sir.
Emilio Aguinaldo. Let's see if that's correct. There you go. Thank you. That is correct. He is Emilio Aguinaldo. Next question. The three important features of the 18... Yes, Miss Mendoza. Mhm. Are you sure? Super sure. Okay, let's see if that's correct. You are correct. Legislative. So again, that's executive, judicial, and legislative. Now, next question. He was elected the prime minister during the first Philippine Republic inauguration. Who is in the picture? Anyone from the
So,
class?
Sir,
Solis, yes, go ahead.
um, he is Apolinario Mabini, sir.
Are you sure? Is it Apolinario Mabini?
Yes, I'm super sure, sir.
Super sure. I like that. Let's see if that's correct. Correct. That is Apolinario Mabini. And yes, he was the prime minister during the first Philippine Republic inauguration. You all did amazing. That was a great job. So, like what I mentioned earlier, those students who were able to answer correctly will get additional 2 points on the result of your short quiz later. And basing on that activity, what do you think is our topic for today? Anyone? Yes, Miss Mendoza? That is correct. Our topic today is 1899 Malolos Constitution. Very good. So for you to understand it more, class, I prepared another activity which is entitled Scavenger Hunt. Well, the rule of this activity is simple, all right? I will provide keywords which is on bulleted form, as you can see on your screens. And all you need to do is just to utilize your browsers and internet connections by looking at the important details on the web related to it. So once you're done, I will ask sets of questions that each one of you will answer later on. You can write down the ideas that you found, you can bookmark it, or whatever suits you best. And you'll have 10 minutes to finish this activity. Any questions before we begin? Type 4 if you don't have any questions and you're ready to start. Okay, all right. Amazing. Yes, amazing. So, class, you may now begin. Your 10 minutes starts now. Last 7 minutes, students. You should have at least completed two topics already. Thank you so much. Last 4 minutes and 50 seconds, students. Okay, class, you only have 2 minutes and some seconds left. I'm assuming that you're almost done with your work, and we will discuss that once the time is up. All right, less than 1 minute. You should be finalizing your work now. Thank you so much. Last 10 seconds. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Is everyone back?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
guys all here? Okay, perfect. Now, based on the details you found on the internet, what happened on the 21st of January, 1899 in Malolos, Bulacan? Anyone?
Solid,
Sir.
sir.
Yes, Mr. Solis.
Sir, on the January 21st of 1899, the
Mm-hmm.
Constitution or the Malolos Constitution was signed. The Constitution stipulated that restrictions on the top, executive, unsupervised freedom of action, which would have slowed down decision making. Thank you, sir.
That is correct. Thank you so much. So, as it was created during the fight for Philippine independence from Spain, however, its Article 99 allowed unhampered executive freedom of action during wartime. So, guys, unsupervised executive governance continued throughout the Philippine American War, which erupted soon after its proclamation. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes.
perfect. What is Malolos Constitution or Political Constitution of 1899 about? Miss Mendoza. Perfect. That is correct, Miss Mendoza. Students, the Constitution specifically provided for safeguards against abuses and enumerated the national and individual rights not only of the Filipino locals but also the foreign nationals living in the Philippines. So again, the purpose or what Malolos Constitution is about, it's it provided safeguards against abuses to the locals of the Filipinos as well as the foreign nationals living here in our country. Okay. Uh, Next, what is the role of Felipe Calderon y Roca and Felipe Buencamino in writing the Constitution? Anyone? Anyone from the class?
Sir,
Yes, Mr. Hidalgo.
the Constitution was written by both of them po.
You got that right. It was written by Felipe Calderon y Roca and Felipe Buencamino as an alternative to a pair of proposals to the Malolos Congress. That was written by Apolinario Mabini and Pedro Paterno. So, students, after a lengthy debate in the latter part of 1898, it was promulgated on 21st of January 1899. Okay? Next question. What is the importance of these three government branches in the said constitution? Anyone from the class? Again, what is the importance of executive, judicial, and legislative in the said constitution? Anyone? Let's call a name though. I want to hear it from Miss Vergara. So, what are the importance of these three branches of the government in the said constitution?
Sir, the three paved a way to the Philippines Democratic Republication government when
Mhm.
the first Philippine public lunches po.
Wonderful. That is correct. So, this three was called for the separation of church and state. Okay, the executive powers were to be exercised by the president of the republic with the help of his cabinet. Judicial, its powers were given to the Supreme Court and other law courts to be created by law. And the other one, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court was to be elected by the legislature with the concurrence of the president and his cabinet. So these three are very important, or this three is the most important part of the said constitution. Do you have any questions about what we discussed? Type 5 if everything is clear. Amazing. Mhm. Okay, very good. Now that you've understand what 1899 Malolos Constitution is about, I prepared another activity which is entitled Share Your Thoughts. In this activity, you'll read the preamble of the 1899 Political Constitution, and all you need to do is just to answer the question that follows. Who wants to read the preamble of the said constitution? Anyone?
Sorry, sir.
Yes, Ms. Nindal. Very good. Thank you so much. Now, again, for the guide questions. First, in your perspective, what do you think is the preamble trying to say to the people of the Philippines? Anyone from the class?
Sorry, sir.
Yes, Mr. Solis.
Sir, I think that the preamble simply state or um, what it's trying to say is the Constitution states that we should construct a government that will conserve and develop our natural resources. Patrimony is a term we use to describe the relationship between us and our ancestors, includes our uh, public forests, mangroves, wildlife, and other natural resources. flora and wildlife that should be preserved, safeguarded, and replenished. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. That was a good point. So yes, guys, that is correct. So the patrimony that the preamble includes the public forests, the mangroves, wildlife, the floras, and faunas, and those things should be conserved, protected, and renewed. Okay. Next question. What do you think is the importance of the Philippine Constitution to our society? Anyone?
Vergara Carol po, sir.
Yes, Miss Vergara.
Constitution is very important instrument in our society. Its regulation acknowledged by the people to preserve and maintain peace and order. Without
Mhm.
this, the state will be in chaos. The sovereign power of the state will deteriorate, and the government will not be able to function well.
Very good. Thank you so much. I have one thing though. Can you say chaos?
Chaos. I'm so sorry, sis.
Perfect. Perfect. That is beautiful. So yes, that is correct. Students, without the Constitution, everything will be in this order. So this is what the people is following so that there will be peace and order for everyone. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Very good. Now,
Yes,
to
sir.
make sure that you learned something from our discussion today, I want you to share to the whole class your takeaways. So, what I need you to do is give two things that you've learned and one valued learning that you gained from what was discussed. Since this is kind of or you doesn't have any heads up for this, I'll give you 1 minute to think about your thoughts, and later on, I will call on names to share their takeaways on the whole class. Your 1 minute starts now. Okay, students, time is up. So, again, to make sure that you've learned something from what we discussed today, I ask you to think about your takeaways from this discussion. So, you will share two things that you've learned on the whole class, and the other is a valued learning that you gained throughout the discussion. I want to hear it from Mr. Hidalgo. What are your takeaways on our discussion for today?
Yes, sir. The first is the Constitution was approved on January 21, 1899, and the second one was the very first Philippine Republic used the Malolos Constitution. So the one valued learning that I learned is that a country wouldn't survive if they do not have a constitution or set of rules. That's all, sir.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Tap your shoulder because you did a job well done. Another student, I want to hear it from Miss Mendoza. What are your takeaways on our discussion? Ms. Mendoza, are you still here? Okay, let's skip Miss Mendoza. I want to hear it from Mr. Solis. What are your takeaways on our discussion today?
Thank you, sir. So, my takeaways, the two things I've learned is that the Malolos Constitution was signed by uh, again, the Malolos Constitution was signed in January 21st of 1899, and also I learned about the Constitution preamble that stated the um, government will and how powerful is the Constitution. Thank you, sir.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. So, other than that, I prepared another activity for you guys. So, for your last activity, you will write a free verse essay describing the 1899 Malolos Constitution on your activity notebook. What's gonna happen is after you wrote it, all you need to do is just to take a picture of it and send it to our group chat. I'll call on names later on to share their work on the entire class. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. You'll have 10 minutes to finish this activity, and your timer starts now. Last 4 minutes, students. Last 2 minutes, students. You should be finalizing your work now. And once you're done, take a picture of it and upload it on our group chat. So I'll be calling names later to share their work to the entire class. Okay, 2, 1. Time's up, students. I'm assuming that you guys are all ready, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So yes, I'll give you 1 minute to upload your works and you may now start. Let me know once you've uploaded your works on our group chat so we can discuss your answers. Okay, so I'm seeing uploaded works already. Now, let's discuss those answers of yours. I want to hear it from Mr. Solis. Can you please share your work to the entire class?
Thank you, sir. So, good evening, everyone. So, describing the 1899 Malolos Constitution, so the political constitution of 1899, informally known as the Malolos Constitution, was the constitution of the first Philippine Republic. It was written by Felipe Calderon y Roca and Felipe Buencamino as an alternative to a pair of proposal to the Malolos Congress by Apolinario Mabini and Pedro Paterno. After a lengthy debate in the latter part of 1898, it was promulgated on 21st January 1899, and the Constitution placed limitation on unsupervised freedom of action by the chief executive, which would have hampered rapid decision making, as it was created during the fight for the Philippine independence from Spain. It established a democratic republication government with three branches: the executive, legislative, and the judicial branches. It called for the separation of church and state. The executive power were to be exercised by the President of the Republic with the help of his cabinet. The Constitution specifically provided for safeguard against abuses and enumerated the national and individual rights not only of the Filipinos and of the aliens. The legislative power were exercised by the Assembly of Representatives, composed of delegates elected according to the law. The Malolos Constitution is the first important Filipino document ever produced by the people's representative. That's why we should always remember that this greatly influenced our history since it is the first constitution we have. That would be all. Thank you, sir.
That was amazing, Mr. Solis. Tap your shoulder because you did an amazing job. Thank you so much. Now, I also want to hear your work, Mr. Hidalgo. May you please share your work to the entire class?
Yes, sir. So, on January 21, 1899, Aguinaldo promulgated what is now known as the Malolos Constitution. So, the Malolos Constitution is the first important Filipino document ever produced by the people's representatives. It is anchored in democratic traditions that ultimately had their roots in American soil. It created a Filipino whose government was popular, representative, and responsible, with three distinct branches: the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. The legislative powers were exercised by the Assembly of Representatives, composed of delegates elected according to law. To make the function of Congress continuous, the document provided for a permanent commission which would sit as a lawmaking body when Congress was not in session. The Assembly elected the President of the Republic. The cabinet, composed of the secretaries of the different departments of the government, was responsible to not to the President but to the Assembly. The administration of justice was vested in the Supreme Court and in inferior courts to be established according to law. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court was to be elected by the Assembly with the concurrence of the President and the Cabinet. The Constitution as a whole is a monument to the capacity of the Filipinos to chart their own course along democratic lines. In a period of in a period in a period of storm and stress, it symbolized the ideals of a people who had emerged from the dark ages into the light of reason. That's all, sir.
Amazing. That was a good point as well, Mr. Hidalgo. Thank you so much. Tap your shoulder for me as well. So, guys, hold on. Okay. There you go. So, for your last activity for today, which is your evaluation as well, On a short bond paper, complete this Venn diagram by citing three differences between the three government branches, as well as their three similarities. And I want you to label your diagrams accordingly. So once you're done, kindly take a picture of it as well and send it to our group chat. And for this one, you'll have 3 minutes to finish this activity, and you may now begin. Last 1 minute, students. Sure, I'll give you another 3 minutes. No worries. Thank you so much for letting me know, Miss Mendoza.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. All right, so there you go. You guys have another 3 minutes to finish your work, and I'm expecting for an amazing work from you guys. Last 1 minute. Four, three, two, one. Students, you may now upload your work on our group chat so that I can check those answers later. Okay. For your assignment, so I want you to write this down on your activity notebook, and we will discuss it on on our next meeting. So for your assignment, what are the important features of 1935 Commonwealth Constitution, and how is it relevant on today's society? So again, I want you to write down your ideas on your activity notebook, and we will start discussing those works on our next discussion or on our next meeting. Do you have any questions on your assignment, students? Any questions?
None so far, sir.
None, sir.
So far.
None so far. Okay, so before I let you guys go, let me leave you an inspiring quotation first from Benjamin Franklin. So according to Benjamin Franklin, love your enemies for they love your enemies for they tell you your faults. So students, loving your enemies can also mean making an effort to interact and make peace with them. Okay? Because in the end, if you're able to establish some common grounds and patch things up, you'll have succeeded in making another friend. Because again, who doesn't need friends, right? This can also help you in working with people in the long run. So if you have plans on being a government officials or working under the government, your friends will back you up, and those enemies will help you get you to the top. Any questions about today's discussion, students?
None, sir.
Amazing. So again, thank you so much for coming into class. I appreciate all your efforts. Kindly tap your shoulders for me, everyone, because you all did amazing today. Again, I'll see you next meeting. Class dismissed. Thank you, students.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.